Now we're going to move inside the HTTP message themselves to understand how the meaning is encoded and exchanged. We examine request and response structure. We're going to explore how different HTTP methods signal intent, and we're going to explain how the web maintains that state despite the HTTP being fundamentally stateless. Now, HTTP messages are not arbitrary data streams. They follow a precise structure that both the client and the server must understand. We've said this repeatedly, right? You have to understand both the source as well as the destination. This structure allows independently developed systems to communicate reliably across the global internet. If either side misinterprets a message, the communication breaks down, even if the transport succeeds. An HTTP request begins with a request line that clearly states that the action the client wants to perform. The headers add contextual information such as content type, encoding preferences, and connection behavior. When necessary, the message body carries user input or uploaded data. Now, the responses begin with a status code that immediately tells the client whether the request succeeded or failed. The headers describe the properties of the returned content, including the size and format, and the body of the message carries the actual resource when it's appropriate. HTTP methodologies allow clients to express intent beyond simply requesting the data. A GET request signals retrieval, while a POST indicates submission or processing data. If you're looking on Wireshark, you'll see a lot of times where the client says, hey, get this. And I want you to remember this, right? Get this for me. Go get this. That's what we're saying with a GET request. A POST is the server responding saying, here you go. I'm posting this up for you. I'm posting it. Okay? The servers rely on these signals to enforce correct behavior and security controls. The status code provides immediate feedback about the outcome of the request provided by the client. The client uses these codes to decide whether to retry, redirect, or report the error. This explicit signaling reduces the ambiguity in a distributed communication structure. This is how the system's able to go, what happened? I mean, imagine this, right? Imagine if you went to somebody, anybody have this conversation before, you go to somebody and you're like, hey, I have a question for you. And you ask a question. I'm going to pick on my wife a little bit, right? I go up to her and I say, hey, do you want steak tonight for dinner or chicken? Well, I kind of like beans and I really craving a salad. And I asked a yes or no question. I asked, do you want beef or chicken? And she's coming back with me with salad and all this stuff. That wasn't even an option. This is the problem that would happen on the internet. Now, with the internet, with HTTP coding, that doesn't occur. If I'm like, hey, do you want steak or chicken? It's like, here's chicken, here's steak, right? It's not asking me about salad. Salad wasn't even part of the question. This is where if the system, the server starts talking about salad, it's going to crash the entire system. We can't do that. All right. HTTPD does not remember past interactions by default. There's no history. After a response is sent, the server discards any knowledge of that client. This simplifies the scaling but complicates the applications that require that continuity. When a shopper returns to an online store, the server has no built-in memory for the previous visits. That means by default, when you go to Amazon, no, the server does not remember based on HTTP structure what you talked about. It doesn't even care, right? Any sense of continuity must be recreated by that application layer. This illusion of memory is constructed at the top of the stateless exchange. It's an illusion, though. All right. Cookies allow the server to associate those requests within the logical session. A unique identifier is stored on the client and returned with each request. So that means every time the client comes back and says, hey, server, remember we were talking about this. Oh, I remember because the cookie told me to. All right. This mechanism enables that login session, shopping carts, and that personalization that we're seeing online. Right. Maintaining state introduces complexity and new failure modes, right? This persistent identifiers, they raise privacy concerns and they raise tracking risks. Designers must balance the convenience against the security and reliability associated with that server, associated with that connection. Right. All right, we showed you how HTTP communicates meaning through structured messages. We talked about allowing HTTP as stateless, how application layer state on top to meet those user expectations, and we understood that this distinction is critical for analyzing real HTTP traffic.